Hello again. Thank you for checking out another video on this little channel that I've started. In the last video I went over this MZR70, which is sort of my best looking player that I have. So I thought I'd make a bit of a longer video for the second video that kind of goes over, the current state of my collection. And I sort of figured that I could start by going over these two in the back here. These are MZR30s. Both of these have originated in 1996. They're both just standard play MiniDisc recorders, kind of aimed at the sort of prosumer market. They've got powered mic in and a digital line in. This one on the right here is the Japanese domestic market version, obviously because it's all of the functional control markings are going to be in katakana with like kanji supplements, and it's interesting because they'll keep all of the vanity phrasing and killer app stuff, killer feature stuff is in English, like digital megabase and sample rate converter and all of that. But obviously all the functional controls are going to be in Japanese. But I kind of like this. I like that I have both a tourist. This is a tourist model technically, as it is for English speakers and readers. But it's neat to see the difference in design between these two. Not in terms of the controls, because obviously it's the same body, but just the way that they put the decals on is totally different. And they're obviously that's a choice because the machines have to be arranged differently, and they're both English characters. So it's sort of an interesting thing that somebody decided at some point that the design for the Japanese market one over here would be different than this one. And I would love to know what the reasoning for that is. But so interesting to note. Both of these recorders actually function fine. I have a 6-volt center negative universal Sony lead here that I can sort of demonstrate that with. This one will read and play discs. It does have an issue with this wheel here. That's going to be something I think I'll probably make a video on trying to fix. This wheel is responsible for selecting tracks and titling, primarily titling. So you do character selection with that. And you can see here as I scroll this and click it, the unit doesn't wake up. And that's the issue, is this wheel and button assembly has become unresponsive. And it's probably, well, it's either a simple fix or it's completely unfixable and there's nothing I can do. But the issue is looking at the user manual for this, it's clear that disassembling this and getting to the pertinent area here is extremely difficult. It's the last area you disassemble once everything else is out of the frame. So that would be a long form video, and we'd have to see if that'd be something I'd be up for. Because as it stands, I have obviously an identical unit that does not have that titling scroll wheel issue, and that would mean that I don't really need to have this one working perfectly. It's sort of just a vanity pair, if you will. So to move on, I would have gone over this one, but I already sort of did in the last video. The first video is just like a little 2-minute tour of this recorder. I really like this one. This one's my favorite, just purely because I like the form factor. I like how small it is, but I also appreciate that not yet had they turned to removing buttons and supplementing that with digging through menus with this tiny rocker. There's still physical buttons for basically every control on here, which is great. And this came out in 2000, I believe, or 2001. Very very close to the start of the NetMD machines that came out in 2001. This probably was one of the last ones that was just a standard LP, a standard play machine without LP 2 or 4. But I really like it. It's a good little recorder and it sounds great. And that was one of the things I showed in that video. Is everyone else who has one of these is that they just screech very loudly in operation. The rails that control the travel length on the or just that control that laser sled moving back and forth, they just get loud. I seem to have been lucky with this one, though. It's very quiet. This one here, having a little bit of problems with. I just acquired, this is my newest acquisition. All of these I've gotten in the last 3 months. and all with various issues, except this one. This one I didn't have to do anything to. But these two both had issues. The same issue actually with the door, which seems to be really common on these units, where there's like a metal sled that the door it uses to kind of float the disc so that there's not resistance. It's this metal top piece right here is seated via this tab. I don't know if you can see that. Come on, camera. That tab right there, right above my finger. It's floating. You can see that I can lift it up and move it here, and these have a tendency to come out of that bracket, and then they just hang, and the door won't operate. And both of these units suffered from that, but it's a quick fix. It's really not even you're not even fixing anything. You're just taking the door off, reattaching the sled, and putting it back together. This one's going to need to be taken apart. Yeah. There's button issues with this one. I think down to the design of these rockers. This isn't what is this? MZN505. So one of the really basic NetMD recorders. No mic, only an optical line, and their intention is that you're going to do all of your importing to disk via this USB Mini B port. Still a nice player though. Nothing particularly bad about that. I kind of appreciate how light it is. It's mostly plastic, but this rocker here is failing. And when you go to play a disc, for example, all of the pegs that contact the actual buttons on the circuit board on this appear to have worn out or worn down. So in that process, when you push down on up, let's say you push play, it's going to also push these two buttons as well. So you push play and you'll skip forward 2 tracks and go back 1, and then it'll start playing. And stopping will do something similar. And that might be fixable. That might be something that I have to address with a 3D printed part. I'm going to have to get in there. I haven't yet. It should be something to work on in a future video and just kind of take a look at. Other than that, though, it does work fine. Principally, what I mean, even if I never do repair the issue on the front of this, I don't intend to ever use this for playback at all. This is purely for titling. I use the WebMD PWA that's been developed and use this to title discs up, which is great. It makes it super easy. I can get like a 15-track disc done in like 2 minutes because you're using a regular keyboard. This player here has kind of been the work of the channel. It looks like it's going to be. This one has multiple problems. This is so these are not the only recorders I have. I have 2 more that are both just completely knackered. One of them is an identical model. It's an MZR37, and then another one is oh god, I don't even remember what they're called. I'll probably put a picture of it here, or at least put in text what the name of it is, but that one's also destroyed from internal corrosion. And somebody had left AA batteries in one of these, and I got it, and it was just too far gone. It had eaten away at traces on the PCB, so there's nothing I can do about that. But this one, I just got recently, and the owner said it wouldn't play discs. I got it off eBay. Wouldn't play discs, would just display a low power warning. And I wasn't really familiar with that, so I thought perhaps it was an issue with the battery power supply. I plugged it in, and it still was saying low battery. In fact, I can actually show you that here. Get that to focus for me. And see, it's touchy. So basically what's going on is there's a chip in here, the ADDA chip, basically the DAC in here. The chip that's responsible for that has a short circuit, and that causes it to just kind of have a meltdown. Let's see if I can get that mess. There we go. Does that twice and then stops, and right here, I can show you properly. Right about here, if I leave this plugged in for about 30 seconds, I will begin to feel heat emanating from this, and that's a bad sign. And if I leave it in for 2 minutes, it's the most I've ever left it is about 1 minute to 2 minutes, and it was just so hot I couldn't touch it, and you're getting that kind of ozone-y smell. So definitely a dead chip. I have maybe 50 discs, perhaps less. I should actually get a head count here because I've had a couple more come in. This group here is part of a bigger stack you can't see in the background. Maybe you can make out these blue Rye Protect tabs that are present here. There's a 2 by 2x8 stack of discs back there. I got 18 of these off of Jauce, which is, Jauce means Japanese auction, but what Jauce is an intermediary service that allows, you know, Western customers to purchase Yahoo auctions that are typically limited based on shipping to just being available only to residents in Japan. So Jauce will charge a set amount on top of that to have the parcel shipped in Japan to one of their warehouses, and then they will handle all of the import stuff for getting it to your target country. But it got sort of burned. I mean, this is one of those situations that I can only sort of tell and extrapolate details from. Basically, this set of discs I bought, it was 18, and I'm going to say the price that I paid, and it's going to be like, wow, we got such a great deal, but, you know, it comes with a stipulation. So I paid 2,000 yen for these, which is like $15 or $14, something like that. And that was great, and the shipping was excellent. I only paid another 2,000 or maybe 1,500 yen on top of that for expedited shipping, and that was down to the way what Jauce does is they unwrap the package from the customer and then repackage it for international shipment, and depending on how they configure that package, that's the final weight in their eyes of it. So when they do that reorganization, they can pack it much tighter, and we're able to reduce the volume of the shipping container they used for this. You know, not container, but the box they used. So like, great, you know, they're super good at optimizing that. I only paid $30 and I got 18 discs, which is a relatively good deal. Given that, you know, I bought these on eBay in the United States. This is a pack of Sony Basic 80s, which I really like. These are perhaps my favorite discs behind these TDKs. And I paid $22 for a pack of 5. And they are nowhere near as good a shape as all of these discs are in. They didn't even come, every single one of these discs came with slip cases too, and they're just in excellent condition. So like, great, I'll see if I can bid on a bigger lot, you know. And I bid on I dropped like 5,600 yen on a lot of 120 discs split over 2 separate orders. That was what the total was, and I thought, great. You know, once it gets to the warehouse, they'll calculate the shipping, and it'll be, you know, another 15 or 30 bucks. And it turned out to be 15,000 yen, which is just a hair under $100 for the shipping, which totally reverses how this works in terms of it being economically viable. The weight just got too much. So my options are either pay less for a less quick shipping method, or pay on the nose to get them in a week or so. But I think I'm just going to wait. I'll have to wait 3 months, but I'm not going to pay, you know, that much. That's on me. I still will get the discs, but, you know, it's going to be quite a ways down the line before any videos of that show up. But these were great. These were recorded with what appeared to be classical piano performances. You know, all 18 discs, you know, maybe 40 or 30 hours of classical music and LP2, just all on these discs, and that was it. But I'll probably end up blanking most of these. There's some discs in this that I will keep just because I enjoy them. I like classical music, but I think my system is generally that black tape denotes special. So when I've gone through and listened to most of these, and there's something interesting on that one. And then this disc here was in this machine when it shipped. It's a Sony. I don't actually know what the branding on this one is. What does it say? Yeah, Sony 80-minute recordable MD color collection. It's a really very basic disc, but very cool. And it had a bunch of radio bumpers, sort of jingles, recorded on it for a radio station based out of Houston that doesn't operate anymore. But it was funny because it wasn't the actual master take of someone performing these bumpers. It was sort of akin to what I thought I thought it sounded like the writer speaking them out to get an understanding of how they sound rhythmically and syllabically, because it wasn't a voice actor. It was sort of coughing in the middle of takes and stuff, but it might have been the writer or maybe a showrunner or someone just testing the way the words sound spoken. But it's kind of an interesting disc. I might rip this just for posperity's sake. But the other ones, I'm not sure if I'll rip all this classical music just because it doesn't sound very good in LP2. Still neat, though, in terms of the content. Yeah, most of the discs are those TDKs. That's most of them. This one here was included in another player. I can't remember if it was the Japanese one. It was one of the R30s. I can't remember which one. Didn't have anything on it. It was a truly talk scrambled disc. There was no way to recover it. Not even with the the NetMD. I mean the WebMD thing where you can sort of recover some discs. This one was totally blank. But it's cool. It's very matrixy, which is sort of a callback to these discs here, which are like background discs in the Matrix. And that one scene where Neo's grabbing the special code for the nightclub denizens. He has one of these discs in his little book, the book of like world-breaking evil code. These ones here, this is the first lot I ever got. Another $20 lot, just wasting money. This one here is a Victor disc, I think. Yeah, Victor Clear MD. There was actually music on this one. This one had a really nice house mix on it that I'm just going to keep. The rest of these were blank. They are all just this Sony Memorex MD80. Kind of, I think, different, perhaps different. No, they're the same. I could have sworn I had a different generation of one of these to show, but it looks like I don't. I really like, you can see my preference is for very austere design. I like blank discs quite a lot in terms of just the way they look. I won't ever label discs. I like these clear ones a lot. I like being able to see the disc in the caddy. That's sort of big for me. I can get this arranged. And the only other disc I have is this one here. This is a Maxell Color 80. I've recorded onto this disc. This one has music on it, my own music. And I just really like this disc. That's why I have a separate little clear disc caddy for it. It's just a nice color scheme. I'm a fan of blue and yellow. That's sort of a theme I go for a lot. I just appreciate that disc. I power the portable units off of these, just as a side note, probably getting near the end of the video here. These are pale blue batteries. These are like rechargeable AA's. You can recharge them via micro USB. They recharge with an octopus cable. I got a set of 4 and they all recharge at the same time, which is great. Pretty polarizing as far as I can tell. Online, some people say they have really good experiences with these batteries. Other people say they don't. They do not. They just do not get either they don't put out enough volts to just be a decent AA battery, or they are not sustainable. They only last like 10 minutes at a decent load application. I have not had issues with these, and I'm not saying MiniDiscs are the only thing I've run these batteries through. I use them in controllers and other things. I use them in a torch and stuff. They're good. At least I should say my batch is good. This isn't an endorsement for pale blue batteries. I'm just saying these are the rechargeable batteries I use in these players, and I've had really good luck with them. They last an extremely long time between recharges, at least for me. Your mileage may vary. I'm just putting a disc in this R70 here. So I was actually interested to see what was on this this disc that I had previously marked as of some importance. See if anything comes up here on the old display. I was thinking about it. There's definitely something on it. No, oh, there we go. That's a bit loud, isn't it? I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, it's a little noisy. Well, I think what I'll do real quick is I'll do another cut and set up a little speaker so we can hear what's on this. Okay, I've set up a little speaker and I've put the line in on here, so we should be able to have a listen as to the content of some of these discs, or at least this disc to start, the one I marked out as special interest. It doesn't have a table of contents with anything readable on it in terms of, like, it doesn't have titles, I should say. That was a really bad way of putting that, but This first track seems to have a whole lot of nothing going on. Ah, this is oh, that's the Japanese metal. Yeah, can't go wrong there. Yeah, this is quite a weird disc now that I remember it. There's all kinds of stuff on here. I remember what I clearly had the impression was either TV or movie soundtracks, maybe an anime or something. I'm sure if it's anything significant, Japanese copyright holders are so aggressive that it will get struck instantly, and I'll at least get to know what the video sound was. Here we go. There's such weird music on here. Remember this? This is some sort of orchestral track. Yeah, there was definitely a theme. Maybe 4 or 5 of the pieces on here definitely had a thread. It was just something that kept appearing on every track. I'm not really sure. Not sure what to make of that. Yeah, we go. This is the stuff that sounds a lot to me like some sort of anime music. Someone will have to help. I'll rip this properly and probably post a small video of it just to see if somebody can identify that. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this little video. This was just me kind of wanting to demonstrate the state of the collection, and you kind of know I'm going to be doing repairs hopefully on these two if I can. But just kind of wanted to make a little video here and show off where I am. Thank you for watching.